Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Parker. I'm the Director of Media Relations for the Prince George's County Police Department. We hope that today's announcement of 2 murder arrests will bring some peace to the family members and a sense of relief to our community. We'll begin today with Chief Magaw. State's Attorney Angela Alsobrooks will then share a few remarks, as will Councilmember Karen Toles. And then Mike Straughan, who is the commander of our Criminal Investigation Division, will follow up with any specific questions or answers to the questions that we know that you do have today. We would like to acknowledge and thank the school officials and the lawmakers and the various people who support our department for being here today for this important news. We'll begin now with Chief Magaw.
Good afternoon. We recognize what our community is going through. Anger over senseless violence, especially against our youngest citizens. Today is one of the main reasons many of us chose this profession. We are the guardians of our community, and when something unimaginable happens, it's our job to respond and ensure that criminals are caught and prosecuted so that they can't ever hurt anyone again. Our ultimate goal is to find answers, and today we have that. We have arrested Travon Bennett for the murder of Marckel Ross. Bennett turned 20 years old today. He is charged with the shooting death of the Central High School junior. All aspects of this department were involved in the investigation, from our academy class with the morning of the crime to the countless hours our homicide detectives spent poring over the facts of the case, to the community's input in the form of Crime Solvers tips. The message here is, no matter how long it takes us, we will find you. We will bring you to justice, and we will hold you accountable for your senseless choices. We have also made an arrest in the senseless killing of 71-year-old Geraldine McIntyre. James Ward, 46, of Capitol Heights, is charged with first-degree murder. Any murder is tragic, but this one shocks the senses. We know Miss McIntyre had helped the suspect in the past. She gave him food. We now know he took advantage of that kindness and came into her home and killed her. Then he walked out with her television. We know it's crimes against the very young and the very old that shocks the consciousness of our community. It does so also for this police department. We all deserve better. Ms. Alsobrooks.
Good afternoon. I want to thank Chief Magaw, and I want to thank this department for the absolutely excellent work that they do. I don't know that we always recognize how much it takes. There are 24, 48-hour periods where these officers do not rest until they close these cases. And as we promised before, we told you that we would bring closure to the cases, and the police in this case have made an arrest. We want to say to the public that we will do everything in our power to protect those who are vulnerable in our community, the elderly, the young. We will, as the chief indicated, not stop until we arrest, prosecute, and incarcerate those who prey upon the citizens in our county. I want to thank our citizens who have cooperated with us. Thank you for your calls. Thank you for your tips. It takes every one of us to keep this community safe, and I want to thank the public because the outpouring has been truly tremendous. This is a community that cares, and we want to continue to make the point that we care as well. I want to say that, as we said last week, it doesn't stop here. An arrest is what we work for. We're going to arrest, prosecute, and incarcerate, but we won't stop here. We're going to do everything we can as well to pour into the lives of our young people to ensure that we don't keep ending up here. And so there is a greater goal at work, but today the news is great that we have once again removed from our community two dangerous individuals, and I want to ensure you that from my office's standpoint, we will do everything in our power to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. And again, the message is it will not be tolerated in our community. We will protect the vulnerable in our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We also have joined us as Chairwoman Andrea Harrison, where she also experienced the homicide of the elderly woman in her community as well. And so the fact that you have, council members here present, we are serious and are looking to invest and working hard to make our community safer. And so I also want to thank Chief Magaw as well as the entire Prince George's County Police Department, especially Commander George Nader, who worked extremely close with the community, the family of Marckel Ross, the school system, the District 7 office, and the entire Prince George's County leadership to keep us informed and updated regarding the murder of Marckel Ross. Regardless, regardless of the fact that we have justice today, the mother has lost a child. And so today, justice has prevailed in this senseless robbery and murder. And today I want to thank, again, the hard work of our police department and all the community who came out and gave tips regarding this murder. We know we cannot continue to lose another child in this county, and so I thank you, the community, for stepping forward and helping with getting tips to the police department. I want to thank Ms. Alsobrooks because I want to thank her in advance because I know that she's going to prosecute this individual to the fullest extent. Thank you.
Thank you to the councilman and to the state's attorney. Major Mike Straughan is the commander of the Criminal Investigation Division and will answer questions for you at this point.
Good afternoon. I'll briefly go over the events recently that developed the closure in these two cases and then open it up for your questions. Regarding the Marckel Ross case, the case suspects were identified back on October the 31st when there was a citizen robbery in the area. At the time of this citizen robbery, Travon Bennett was identified and arrested in this citizen robbery. During the course of the investigation and the on-scene arrest, we also obtained a handgun in that particular citizen robbery. We now know that that handgun is ballistically matched to the murder of Marckel Ross from the investigation back on September 11th. Since October 31st, Travon Bennett has been incarcerated on a bond for the unrelated citizen robbery. We have been working since then to develop enough probable cause and strengthen our case to move forward in obtaining an arrest warrant charging him with the murder of Marckel Ross. We are at that point today with our day-to-day work with our state's attorney's office. We are currently at the Department of Corrections where he'll be presented these charges for first-degree murder in the death of Marckel Ross, and we anticipate he'll be placed on a no-bond status. Regarding the murder of McIntyre, we developed Ward as a suspect back on February 12th. He was wanted for an unrelated burglary case in the area. We quickly arrested him on that open burglary warrant and began our investigation to his involvement in the murder of Miss McIntyre. Our case, we got a break late Friday night on this case when we recovered a television that was stolen from Miss McIntyre's house at the time of the murder. Since the 12th, we have been developing enough probable cause and strengthening our case to charge Ward. With the developments of late Friday night, with the recovery of the stolen television, we are now also at the county jail presenting Mr. Ward on the first-degree murder warrant for Miss McIntyre's death on February 9th. He has also been incarcerated since February 12th, several days after the murder, but he is being charged today with the murder of Miss McIntyre. And I'll ask any questions. I'm sorry?
How well did the suspect know the victim, Ms. McIntyre?
We believe that they're known to each other. We have information to believe that Ms. McIntyre was helping Ward by providing him food, and we believe that they did know each other prior to the murder.
Was he a handyman or something of that sort?
I'm sorry, what?
Was he a handyman or?
It appears that he had been helping her. Ms. McIntyre is elderly, and he had been around the house helping her in some way.
And robbery was the motive in that case then, or what was the motive in that case?
With the TV being taken, obviously the motive is robbery, and it's a theft in the commission of a murder, makes it felony murder.
Like Ross had a connection to Bennett?
What type gun was it? How many co-defendants were there? And as we looked at his background, we saw cases going back to May would you describe him as sort of on a, I don't know how to use the word spree, but it looks to me like you all resolved a lot of cases on him over time. Gun, novices, and his history.
Since October 31st, when Travon Bennett was arrested and we recovered a .38 caliber revolver, that revolver has been linked to the murder of Marckel Ross ballistically. It matches the murder. Since October 31st, we've been obviously investigating all activity in that area to include other citizen robberies. There are other cases that Travon Bennett has been charged with, which are citizen robbery type cases. There are co-defendants in these cases. I cannot mention at this time who they are because they're all part of this ongoing investigation. But what happens is, on October 31st, with these arrests for this citizen robbery, we develop other cases that they were involved in.
Was anybody with him when he attacked Marckel?
We believe at the time that Marckel was murdered, Travon Bennett acted alone, was alone, and we believe the motive to be attempt robbery.
And in the final case where he was locked up, how many guys are involved in that?
There was at least 2 others implicated in the October 31st citizen robbery.
Have you found a connection between...
These robberies were all in the Capitol Heights area.
Have you found any connection between Bennett and Ross, or does it look like this was random? And also, can you discuss what hard evidence you have connecting Bennett to this case?
There is no relation between Marckel Ross and Travon Bennett that we know of. We do have a lot of witness testimony that I can't disclose at this point and other evidence, along with the murder weapon. To get into each and every fact of it, I cannot do at this time.
Like, the October 31st robbery, where did that take place?
It occurred right in the area. I believe it was Sultan Avenue. It was a citizen robbery type incident where a citizen was confronted by suspects, and it was an armed robbery, and cigarettes were taken from the victim.
And how did you make such a quick arrest?
Responding patrol officers responded to the scene, put out the lookout. There were 3 defendants stopped in the area. They were quickly identified in the October 31st robbery. So basically a quick patrol response is what developed them as suspects in that case.
And do you know why he shot Ross? Was this, you said it was an attempted robbery. Did something go wrong? Did he, like we heard Charles Walker return to run and he was shot in the back? Any idea on
we are still investigating what exactly happened. We do not have any property taken from Marckel Ross that we know of. We believe there was a confrontation on the sidewalk on Central Avenue between Travon Bennett and Marckel Ross. We believe that confrontation was an attempt robbery.
How would you describe Mr. Bennett's act? I mean, looking at the charges, he's got, looks like he shot somebody May 31st as well. He was accused of attempted second-degree murder on May 31st. Is this guy just a professional mugger?
Well, there's at least 4 citizen robbery cases that he's involved in at this point. The May 31st case did include a shooting where he's accused of shooting another citizen in a robbery attempt. I guess to describe it, he does have a criminal past, and he's involved in several citizen robberies.
Now, Travon was part of the October 31st robbery, and was it a citizen tip that led to that group of people that were suspects for that robbery?
No, ma'am. On October 31st, a robbery occurred. It was reported through our 911 dispatch. Responding officers quickly responded to the area. They put out a lookout for units in the area, and then our patrol division officers stopped 3 suspects that matched the description of that citizen robbery.
Who had the gun, or did they dump the gun? How did you get it?
The gun was recovered through some searches that we did on October 31st. At the time, we did not know whether it was going to be linked to Marckel Ross or not, but ballistically through our firearms examination unit, we can confirm that it was actually the murder weapon used to kill Marckel Ross.
Can you tell us, did they throw the gun down, or did one of the suspects have the gun? Did they have the gun?
It was recovered during the investigation from October 31st.
One more question, please.
We've had the gun for a while, and obviously we're relying on some of the testimony, some of the information from co-defendants to definitively link Ross and to link Bennett to that murder. Will there be any sort of plea deals or any charges dropped for co-defendants that are speaking in this case?
I think it's way too early to comment on that, and that's obviously for the state's attorney's office. Will be prosecuting the case in the future. Non-life threatening, but he was hit by a gunshot.